This anonymous bettor has risked millions of dollars this year already on just the MLB, placing bets over on Polymarket. And after doing my own research, I tracked every single MLB position he ever put on Polymarket, and after doing deep research, I found exactly what plays I should be copying from this exact wallet. And after about 2 months of tracking, I followed this exact wallet for over 140 plays. And you will be shocked to see the results that I got. Now, just so you have a little bit of background, I am a limited sports bettor on every single soft book in Florida that I have access to. I have got limited on Prize Picks, Underdog, Bettor. I have got limited on Onyx, Courtside, Hard Rock. So now I have moved to following very sharp traders over on the exchanges. The beautiful part about this exact strategy is I made all of this profit following a trader with absolutely no limits. I can scale this as much as I want to, and I will never get limited because I'm betting over on the exchanges, for example, Polymarket, Kalshi, and even NoVIG. This strategy works on any exchange that has a good price, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did. This is Sportsmaster 777, an MLB trader that has not only profited $38,000 this week, but he has made over $65,000 this month, but he has made over $1.5 million this year, with almost half of that chunk being only MLB. So not only am I going to show you my exact process that I use to follow this exact trader, but I'm also going to show you what not to do when following a Polymarket wallet like Sportsmaster 777. But the first thing I'm going to show you is his analytics chart. As you can see, in just the sports in general, he is ranked number 32 in the world with over 20,000 positions. That's a good sign because that means he has a lot of volume, which means his strategy actually works and it wasn't just a good lucky variant streak. He has over a 56% win rate in sports in general and has made over $1.6 million profit just betting on sports. That being said, we don't really care about other sports right now because MLB is the one in season. So what I want to do is take a look at his MLB stats. He is ranked number 10 in the world, a little bit higher than his sports ranking with over 13,000 trades. That's over half of his trades being in MLB. That gives us a lot of conviction that he's an MLB bettor. And then when we take a look at his win rate, you can see it's actually higher than his sports win rate, which means, once again, higher conviction in the MLB season. 57.5% win rate, and with a 1.9 million profit and a 1.3 million loss, he is up $600,000 on just the MLB season, which brings his total P&L to about a 1.5 million P&L with a win rate of 56% overall. Now, this wouldn't be a good strategy if I just took every single bet he took. He takes over 15 bets a day, and it is very hard to keep up with his exact wallet. So what I did is I deciphered his exact unit size, which is the percentage of bankroll you bet on every single bet depending on confidence level. For example, 1 unit is typically about 1% of your bankroll. So when you bet a 2 unit play, that means you basically have a 2 times confidence level compared to your 1 unit bet. This allows you to track and size everything based off of confidence level and the edge that you have. Now, after doing my own research and looking at every single trade he has ever made on his Polymarket account, I was able to decipher that he has about a $6,000 unit sizing. Now, the reason this is very, very important is if he on average puts about $6,000 on an average size play, should I be taking the plays that are $2,000, $3,000? Probably not. That being said, if we go back to his active profile right now, it's a little early in the day before the game start, but as you can see, he has bets that are up $2,600. He has a bet that's up for $2,100, $2,100, $2,000, $563. If you were looking at his account for the first time ever, you would say, oh, these 3 bets right here are probably his more confident plays. I'm going to play those bets. So if you didn't know he had a $6,000 unit size, you would probably slam these 3 plays, considering these plays right here have a much smaller unit sizing. But because I now know that he has a $6,000 unit sizing, and because I know MLB is his strongest position, I'm not going to be just taking any random tennis bet with $2,000 on it. That being said, can I take his tennis bets? If we go back to his categories and we search up tennis, you can see he has about 47 positions in tennis with about a $10,000 profit loss. That's really good, but the problem is with only 47 positions, we don't necessarily know how strong his edge is in tennis. Another problem is a $10,000 P&L is nothing for a guy that's up 1.5 million. So I actually stay away from his tennis bets and I strictly follow his MLB bets for this summer. Now, as you can see on this Excel sheet, I tracked every single day for about 2 months, and the total unit profit and the total amount won that I had on this exact tracking sheet will amaze you at the end of this video. Now, how I actually tailed his exact bets was I would look about an hour or 2 before game time and I would take a look at his entire dashboard. Now, if we pretended that it's an hour before game time at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I would take a look at this exact bet. Now, anything under $6,000, I would completely disregard, as that isn't a full unit for him, so he's not very confident in that play. I would only take bets that were 2 to 4 unit sizing compared to his $6,000 bet size. anywhere from about 12 to about 25,000 plus dollars on that exact bet. That being said, for example, if this play was over $6,000, I would take a look at this bet. So pretending this was a play that I was actually going to take a look at, I would look at the cents that he bought it at. As you can see, on average, he got a 48-cent entry. Now, essentially all that means, if you take a look at the prediction market price, 48 cents equals plus 108 American odds. All that means is he basically placed this exact under at plus 108. Now, if you take a look at the current pricing, 46.5 cents, which just means we're getting now plus 115 odds, which is 7 odds better, which initially is what he put his bet at. All I want to do is make sure I am getting a better price than the original entry he put in. I care a lot about the current price because I want to make sure I'm getting a better average price than what he's getting. But one of my biggest tips on how to become more profitable than even these poly market traders is line shopping their exact bet. So essentially, all I want to do is get better odds than the 48-cent average and even try to get better odds than the current 46.5 cents. Now, if the current cents are worse than the average cents, that doesn't necessarily mean I can't still put in this bet because I have another way to do so. If you take a look by line shopping on an odds screen like this, you'll be able to see the over and under for the Mets and Braves game and what the exact prices are on every single exchange. As you can see, NoVIG has the over at minus 117 and the under at plus 111. As you can see, ProfitX and ForceX don't actually have an 8.5 line like NoVIG and Polymarket. They have the under 9s. So we're going to ignore those for now. But as you can see, plus 107 is what Polymarket is actually giving us, and plus 105 is what Kalshi is giving us. You can also notice that plus 105 is on the under for Circa, which means if we took this exact plus 111 line over on NoVIG, we're getting a better price than the entire sharp market. So if plus 111 is what's over on NoVIG, and this trader put in plus 108 for the exact same bet, I am getting a 3-cent edge compared to this exact poly market trader. Now this guy is already up $500,000, and I'm going to tail this exact bet with a bigger edge than what he has. So all I need to do is tail his exact bets every single day with a bigger edge on every single line, and I will have a better ROI than him over the long term. That being said, you might say to yourself, well, why doesn't he just do that? Because he is betting such big amounts, he has to put his money down on Polymarket because there's not enough liquidity over on NoVIG, ProfitX, ForceX, the exchanges with less fees and better pricing. You would only really be able to lay down a couple $1,000s on every single market, whereas on Polymarket, you can lay down tens of thousands of dollars on literally every single market because there are so many bettors on those exact apps betting that much on those kind of markets. So because of this, we are able to actually take his exact play, get a better price on another exchange, and line shop his prices and still put quite a lot of money down. Unless you're betting over $5,000 to $10,000 unit sizings, you should be able to do this and get a much better ROI than these really profitable traders. I know you might be thinking to yourself, well, how well does this really even work? I tracked everything on my data sheet, and I'm going to show you exactly what happened over about 2 months of data. As you can see, I tracked about 140 plays over this time period, about 91 wins and 49 losses. This leads me to about a 65% win rate over every single bet that I placed. I tracked about 30 units profit with just under 125 units risked total, which leads me to my 24.1% ROI over these last 2 months. On average, I put 2.5 plays in per day because the volume is so low because 1, it's only one wallet, and 2, it's the MLB season. In June, I got about 75 plays down with about a 58% win rate and about a 7 unit net profit with a 10% ROI. And in July, for the first 26 days, I was able to put 65 bets in with a 72% win rate and a 22 unit profit over a 42% ROI in a span of 3.5 weeks. With a 30 unit profit over the span of 2 different months, imagine if you were able to scale your unit size from 10 to 20 to hundreds of dollars and never get limited. You can bet $1,000 units and have no problem. So a 30 unit profit tracker literally tells you can make $30,000 with just $1,000 unit sizing. You can literally scale with absolutely no limits and make as much as you're able to put down. A 24% ROI may not be super steady over a year span, but it is a good indicator this is a very strong strategy. Now, truthfully, this was one of my most time-consuming tracking events, and this took me the longest amount of time to do. But I do it every single day, and I track over 5 different Sharp wallets in my Discord, and I put all of those plays in my exchange's membership. If you do want to try that Discord out for completely free, there's a 5-day free trial in the first link in the description, and you will be able to tail every single bet I put in for the next 5 days. I highly recommend getting as many exchange apps as you can and line shopping every single line. What I recommend is getting on NoVIG and ProfitX, as 90% of the time the best lines are on those apps. Even if you can't get a better line than the Sharp, as long as you're getting a very similar price, you're gonna be profitable over the long term. So even on Polymarket, this is still a very good strategy. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications, and make sure you click the first link in the description so you can get 5 free days.